Josh, if engineering were kung fu, you would be Bruce Lee's angry fist.
And you would be Chuck Norris's back hair. Welcome to Engineer versus Designer.
Podcast.
For product designers, engineers, makers, geeks, freaks, and people who enjoy stick fighting by the sea. My name is Josh, mechanical engineer of SolidSmack.com.
My name is Adam, industrial designer of CADJunkie.com.
Each week's show is broken into three scintillating halves. First, we'll bring you the coolest stories in 3D CAD news courtesy of SolidSmack.com.
Followed by tips, tricks, and Q&A compliments of CADJunkie.com.
This week we have a special airing of EvD, bringing you the exclusive launch of SolidWorks 2012 and special guest Jeremy Regnerus of SolidWorks to tell us all about it at the exact moment it is legal to do so.
Jeremy, we heard that clothes fall off at the sight of SolidWorks 2012 in action. Is that true?
Ooh, that is shocking and offensive.
Is it never not true? Isn't every release of SolidWorks awesome and groovy?
Okay, Jeremy, we're going to be hearing more from you as the show goes on. Josh Mings of SolidSmack.com, kick the kung fu fighting SFX and take us on a journey into the depths of your 3D CAD love tunnel.
Right on. This week's SolidSmack update is brought to you by SolidWorks 2012, released today with huge performance-enhancing tools.
Faster than a Red Bull drinking rocket-propelled cheetah on the Serengeti.
Crunches a million-part assemblies like potato chips.
And accurate real-time costing.
Check it out at solidworks.com/launch. Look at this now. Siemens PLM is offering Solid Edge Student Edition for free to students, educators, and those who never left college. The 3D modeling software allows you to slip back and forth between synchronous and ordered features, and as with most Student Edition software, slap a big old watermark on any drawings you create.
But it's well worth it. IMSI Design is increasing your mobile multi-touch possibilities with the release of their TurboViewer Pro iPad app. TurboViewer Pro brings slick new visual layer control not available in the TurboViewer Free app, but is still impressively fast for rotating, panning, zooming, and cruising around your 2D and 3D drawings, and currently 50% off on iTunes.
Nice. Autodesk released Project Storm, cloud-based analysis for Revit structure. It allows you to apply static loads to structures within Revit and run the analysis via cloud-based, that is, off-site servers. This is a labs project and technology preview, so if you're one who likes to throw loads and boundary conditions at buildings in the wee hours of the morning, check it out on the Autodesk Labs website for free.
This kind of stuff is so much better in the wee hours of the morning. And if you're like me and you like to sketch on good old-fashioned dead trees, this one's bound to make you smile. Wacom has developed a new stylus that allows you to capture anything you draw on any surface.
Sweet.
The Wacom Inkling is a pressure-sensitive ballpoint pen that captures your artistry through a receiver. On top of that, you can import as vector graphics into Photoshop or Illustrator.
Nice.
This Wii device is available through Wacom.com for a fat 199 buckaroos, but it looks very cool.
Very cool. Did somebody say Cheetah 3D? Hell yeah, I did.
Yes.
It's 3D modeling, UV wrapping, and texture painting for Macs. They just released version 5.8 and dropped the price to $99.
Cheap as free.
Cheetah3D.com, and giggle at the little red bird on the main page taunting you with its beady eyes.
HDR Light Studio Live for Keyshot is... well, it's live. This is a plugin included with the Pro version of HDR Light Studio that adds extreme gleam to your rendering workflow. You now have real-time HDRI lighting design and adjustment right from inside the Keyshot environment. And holy cow, people, if you haven't heard me preach the gospel of HDR Light Studio in the past, hear me now. This is sweet, sweet news. Okay, pretty typical stuff this week for the most part in the news. The Wacom Inkling is really cool, though, and it's got me thinking.
Nice.
There are two non-digital devices on my desk at any given moment, a ballpoint pen and a ball of plasticine clay. Inkling is threatening to replace 50% of that pile, but when do I get the other 50%? When am I going to be able to sculpt physical clay and see it represented in 3D space on the screen? We talk about this kind of thing, but I kind of think it's possible.
Well, I think that's scheduled for SolidWorks 2045 or something like that.
Oh, come on. It's got to be sooner.
Good answer. Good answer. But I'm unconvinced. Can we move it up a couple of years? Because I need it sooner than that.
Now, you mean you want to model a physical model in your hands And
Yeah, no, seriously. So this is actually it is the actual truth that on my desk when I'm working in 3D, I literally have a ballpoint pen on my desk and some plasticine clay on my desk.
well, I mean, technically you have, you can create a clay model and scan that. And SolidWorks has had scan to 3D for a while. But I know what you're saying. You want this clay to itself be intelligent and be conveying what you're modeling on your screen directly into the 3D CAD environment.
I mean, I'm not asking for magic here. I'm actually not kidding. I feel like it's got to be possible to have some glob of beads that stick together in some crazy way, but they can sense each other, and through some kind of matrix math, they can figure out the shape they're in and tell the computer about it, whatever it is.
He's gone mad.
I just know that, so like there are so many forms where it's really hard to conceive of it in your brain, and sketches lie when you draw them in 2D.
Well, like the Wacom Inkling, it could just be a receiver, and it's scanning the clay as you're making it in real time. So, then it's feeding it, like it feeds the sketch lines into vector graphics into Photoshop. It feeds the clay into 3D geometry in the CAD program.
Now you're talking about something feasible. Have you guys seen what everybody's doing with the Xbox 360 Kinect cameras?
Absolutely.
And there's folks doing real-time 3D scanning with that. I don't know if you've ever seen the guy who's actually working at his desk, and then it looks like you're watching him on video until he rotates the screen live while he's talking. It's very cool technology. I think we'll probably see digital, a digital version of that first, something more along the lines of let's call it Iron Man. To say what's actually technically possible right now, but I don't think you're that far off from the future.
Mm-hmm. Now we know it's coming.
Oh yeah, baby.
We're just getting warmed up.
I'm feeling good today, Josh.
That's kind of surprising. You don't smell so good.
Because I've been drinking the blood of my enemies. This week's CAD Junkie Q&A is brought to you by SolidWorks 2012 3D for Professionals.
It's more than a CAD package.
Real-time costing and environmental impact analysis as you design.
And an all-new equation editor.
I get teary-eyed when I see the new equation editor.
You need to see this at solidworks.com/launch.
Hi, my name is Cindy, and I have a question for designing jewelry and stuff, and I'm really good at designing it, but the thing is I've been using my sister's sidewalk chalk, and the thing is it's when it rains it washes off, and so I was wondering if you guys had anything that was more better.
Okay, so this week's question comes from Cindy, who, well, let's just say Cindy and I have a history. It's a long story. Anyway, Cindy's apparently started designing jewelry lately, and her current sketch medium of choice is sidewalk chalk. And I think there's a pretty good chance we might be able to find a better solution for her. So what do we think? Sketch tools that are better than sidewalk chalk. Any takers?
There comes a point where you need to go from what I've doodled on my napkin, my piece of paper, or with my chalk on the sidewalk. I need to be able to snap a picture of that and bring that into my design tool to bring this thing into the world of reality a little bit more. Because from a technical side, a lot of the content we create, one of the examples we always show. So our team's really involved in showing how SolidWorks can be used throughout the whole design process. And one of the areas we always start is bringing those images, those hand-drawn images that could be scanned right on a computer scanner, right into the SolidWorks image, and being able to trace right on top of those. It's a really good way. Because it was like we were talking about with the clay earlier. You want to freeform things. You want to just let your mind kind of work and let that come to life. And I think that's where those tools are important, being able to bring that stuff in.
But honestly, doing the whole scan and take a photo or whatever thing is still, it's pretty cumbersome.
Well,
and so,
actually, what I do now is I'll sketch out something, snap a picture with my phone, and bring it right into the program. I might touch it up in Photoshop a little bit, but I'll open up SolidWorks and bring it into a sketch picture right there.
Right.
I'll have a dimension that I know about, size it accordingly, and then I can start from there. So that
what, all of you app writers out there that are writing,
there you go.
iPhone and Droid apps, we need one where you can snap a photo of something and it immediately opens in Photoshop on your PC. Like, so it's not. It's like you don't have to upload the image or anything.
Or
like that.
even skips that step where it automatically adjusts the lighting, gets the curves just right, and then brings it into whatever program you want.
Yeah, that's true too. You could do
There
that
you
as
go.
well. Yeah. It depends
Much
on
more
what
gooder.
your goal is. Much more. Well, so I mean, so above that, then there's like this Inkling thing that just came out, and I haven't used it yet, but I'm pretty excited about it. It looks pretty cool. Do you have any idea how this works, Josh?
I'm guessing it's infrared. Don't know exactly how they're doing it, but they're doing it, and they're able to get vector graphics out of it. So I'm loving the idea.
Skeptical, but interesting.
So is it the pen itself, or is it an adapter for a pen? Because here, if we do that, if it's something you attach to a pen, why can't we put that right on our piece of sidewalk chalk?
Yeah, wow. That's actually a really insightful point, Jeremy.
Pressure sensitive sidewalk chalk.
Instead of migrating the user to a new tool, migrate the tool to the user. I love that. So then above that, there's like Wacom tablets you could use, which is actually what I tend to use when I'm using Photoshop. And then there's like an iPad you could use to do your sketching, or a Cintiq to draw straight on the screen. I have my own opinions about those things, but do you guys have any thoughts?
Yeah, they're all making it easier to get sketches into whatever program you want to do. I mean, if ultimately she wants to make jewelry with it, but the iPad is really going to be one of the most cost effective right now, because those tablets can cost anyway. Well, I guess the smaller tablets cost around $99 for the Bamboo, but the Cintiq.
iPad is available, and it would probably be a step up from Sidewalk Chalk. However, I have to say that I'm not a fan of sketching on the iPad. I've tried it in a number of apps, and
You need
I
the
guess
right stylus.
the thing that I keep telling people is that finger painting isn't what I do. So why should I want to do it digitally? I don't do finger painting in real life, so I don't want that digitally.
Yeah, you just need the right stylus, I think.
I guess so. I mean, but pressure sensitivity? You don't get any of that.
No, you won't get it. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, I think I need that. And so for me, it comes down to the Wacom tablet versus the Cintiq. And I'm one of those weird birds that actually prefers the Wacom tablet to the Cintiq. I know that sounds crazy, but there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, there's no parallax. So it's like with the Cintiq, the pen is kind of floating a few millimeters above the actual display, which is kind of weird. But you can get past that. For me, the biggest thing is ergonomic. I don't like being hunched over my desk. It hurts my back to be bent over the screen like that. Whereas with the tablet, I can set it in my lap, I can sit back in a comfortable position, and my fingers aren't hiding what's on the screen. That's another big problem with the Cintiq. When my hand moves up to the file menu, I can't see the file menu anymore because it's blocked by my hand and the pen.
My larynx!
That looks like that does it. We're gonna be right back. That's a lot of blood.
Did I just see Jeremy walk into the
fists look
room?
massive.
He would pummel you.
Oh, my sweet mother.
Yeah. We all know SOLIDWORKS 2012 is the big news this week.
And we're sure you're going to sneak it into the convo whenever we let our guard down.
But humor us for a minute, because we want to hear a little bit about Jeremy first.
First,
Good.
we need to establish your street cred. So, do you have any special skills or talents that we should be aware and or afraid of?
I don't know. I don't really like telling people I'm a ninja, but
Oh.
If your CAD package were a comic book superhero, which would it be?
I personally like Batman the best because of all his gadgets and how he uses technology to be a superhero. He himself doesn't have any superpowers. It's the technology. So me as the engineer, I let my gadget do my work for me, basically.
All right, SOLIDWORKS 2012 in one sentence. Why the heck do we care?
Costing, large design review. 2 huge new tools that are, I would say really innovative new tools that are really going to allow you to change the way you work.
Fantastic.
So Apple names its releases after animals. If SOLIDWORKS 2012 were an animal, which would it be?
The honey badger.
The honey badger.
What else?
Oh, that was perfect.
I can't beat that. So first, let's talk about there was SOLIDWORKS sustainability, now SOLIDWORKS costing. This is obviously part of a broader strategy. Tell us about those two features, and then talk, if you would, about the broader strategy surrounding this emphasis on these non-CAD functionalities within SOLIDWORKS.
Absolutely. We have engineers all the time, engineers and designers all the time telling us they want to go further. They can design products inside and out with SolidWorks all the time. And yet they get to this end of the product design process where they need to branch out. And it's not a linear process. They're not just going to manufacturing, they're not just going to purchasing. They need to reach out to all these other groups in their organization all the time. And having that information as part of the design process, much like simulation. People used to do simulation very much as a post-process operation. And simulation is now this integrated part of the design process where people can have a better understanding of their designs much earlier on. That's what costing and sustainability are doing. Now let's take all three of those, because you mentioned sustainability and costing. Let's throw simulation in there as well.
Right.
I have a new mouse that I'm designing right now, let's say, right? I'm holding my Performance MX, which I love dearly in
I
my
love
hand.
that thing.
And I'm designing this, and let's talk about costing, the new feature. I'm designing maybe some little sheet metal bracket on the inside. Costing is allowing me to look at what are the features on that part that are contributing to the overall cost, not just from, and it's not just features, it's if I have this part manufactured by company A or company B, I'm seeing the difference in how they charge me for those manufacturing processes. One company might charge less for a laser cutting operation. One it might be more efficient to have something water jet or turret punch, depending on who the manufacturer is and how they do that.
So the sensors, we saw this incredible basketball demo where you put a ball and a hoop into a virtual environment and let SolidWorks figure out the exact trajectories and forces that will sink the ball, including bank shots. Very cool stuff, but seriously, Jeremy, how many basketball players use SolidWorks to play in the
Get
games?
real, man.
I think the real question is how many don't? How many?
I think 110% of them do not use SolidWorks.
Yeah, professional basketball player and SolidWorks user, right?
Now that they've seen this, I think they might reconsider SolidWorks as a part of their training strategy.
No, seriously, tell us about this. What is the deal here? Explain it.
So maybe I need to size a motor. One of the other examples we gave was a medical chair, for example. I need to size a linear actuator on the bottom of that, maybe an electrical servo or something like that. There's a couple combinations I'm looking for. There's the size of that servo, but there's also the geometry and how that's mounted. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stay within maybe a certain force range or a certain load capacity, and that's what I can do. I can set, what are the loads I'm going to apply on this, and what's the full range of motion that I'm doing, and what are the different angles or dimensions I'm working with on this. And optimization will run through all these results. And my sensor could be any one of those criteria. It's a goal-seeking operation. So based on your engineering challenge, you're putting in what the goal is going to be.
Right on.
So this gets back to that whole futurist thing. CAD systems exist in a kind of odd space between software and hardware, where you're using hardware to run software that helps design hardware. That was particularly poignant for me when I worked at HP. And I think the fact is that the CAD industry continues, as it grows, it continues to actually help software to make physical things. And so my question is, do you think CAD software is making our world more digital, and that physical things will become more digital, or vice versa? Where the CAD kind of brings things back into the physical world from the digital world.
I think at its core, that's what CAD is all about. There's a balance between what's being used to make digital entertainment and what's being used to make the real world. One of the things a lot of people ask me, what do? You're that guy who works with computers. And I'm like, no, hold on. I like to tell everybody, if you were to look around the room that you're sitting in right now, every single entity in that room was designed by somebody with some sort of an engineering tool. For anything from that engineering tool might be a number 2 pencil and a piece of line paper, but more probably it was designed in some sort of a 3D tool. And I think that that's what CAD does, is it's really used to design the physical world around us.
Jeremy Regnerus, having you on the show has been better than watching an entire 24-hour Arnold Schwarzenegger marathon. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm pretty humbled by that statement.
And to all the people who would like to surround us and beat us senseless with our own arms, we salute you and thank you once again for tuning in.
I could use a good beating.
You could?
We do appreciate your comments, questions, exposés on the 19th century crime lords. Chime in on engineerversusdesigner.com and tell us what you
And
think.
if you think we suck, tell us by liking us, +1ing us, following us, or whatever elsing us. We hate it when you do that.
Thanks to Ross Hartman of rosshartman.com for the blues licks you're hearing in the background.
We'll see you next week, and remember, without engineers, designers would be drawing in the mud with sticks.
And without designers, engineers would be eating mud with sticks.
Why do we do this?
I have no clue, Josh.